Hi, welcome to Mondays with Melissa. This weekend I was out speaking to somebody who was telling me all about this trust that they did for their mother, and they were so happy about the fact that their mother had finally agreed to set up an irrevocable trust, transfer some assets in for asset protection purposes, with the thought that maybe down the road she might need Medicaid in a nursing home. So there's a 5-year look back, as we've talked about so many times, where Medicaid looks back 5 years to see what you've done with your assets. And so you want to make sure that your trust is funded well before that 5 years. Unfortunately, in this particular case, although the trust was properly funded, the individual I was speaking to then started to talk about how they were using that money just to pay the rent for mom and things like that. And I kind of stopped her and I said, hold on one second, you're using the money in the trust to pay mom's rent? And she said, yeah, we're using the money in the trust to pay for whatever mom needs, and then, you know, at some point, if she needs a nursing home, we'll apply for Medicaid. And I felt terrible to have to be the one to tell her that if the irrevocable trust was going to do what they thought it was going to do, which was protect the assets for Medicaid, they shouldn't be spending the principal on mom. And that's a very specific piece of the plan when you're doing an irrevocable trust for asset protection purposes. So as I watched all the color drain out of her face, I felt terrible, and I said, you know, if you want to come in and sit down, we can go over the trust and I can see how it was set up, what the language says, and help you understand the appropriate way to utilize the trust, which is such an important part of doing this type of planning. So I really want to just kind of drive home the idea that you should be in constant communication with the attorney who sets up your documents, who puts these things in place, because the laws are constantly changing. The rules are certainly changing all the time when it comes to Medicaid. And you just have to make sure that you're acting within the confines of those rules, because otherwise, you know, in this particular case, it sounds to me like they've busted this whole trust and it's not going to work anymore. So for Medicaid purposes. So it's just kind of a reminder that if you do have these documents, or you're caring for somebody who has these documents, it's always a great idea to kind of wipe the dust off and have someone take a look and make sure that everything is being done properly. Please feel free to contact us if you want to have a consultation at 631-390-5000, or visit us at conaelderlaw.com. And please remember to follow me at Legally Melissa on Facebook and Instagram.